So I'm just going to start going and people join in. I know it's Friday and depending on where you're at in the world, it's like late on a Friday. So thank you for coming to my session and sticking with me here. But I am happy, happy, happy. So we are doing some code without borders, redefining computer science for K through fifth grade, which is kind of funny because I'm a sixth grade teacher, but I have a background in elementary, across the elementary. So I will introduce myself in just a moment here, but I am going to get going. So again, feel free to share out with your beautiful voice or in the comments, which AI tools are you currently using in your classroom? And I also understand that I'm one of the last sessions at Sequoia, and you've heard so many good things. So I apologize if I am repetitive, but hey, we are all coming in here with our own experiences with it. So hopefully you could stick around with me and how I'm using these tools in my classroom. So what is everyone using? No, shy, it's all good. And if we were in person, I'd be throwing candy out to all of you. So just keep that in mind, virtual candy for all of you, okay? Yes, magic school. We will talk about magic school today. There is something to that magic, right? That word magic there. Jake Carr, love me some Jake Carr. Yes, we do a lot of Edu protocol stuff together, so always fun. Well, yay, well, I'm excited. Okay, so second grade, I got stuff for you today, some fun things for you to learn, and I'm excited. Yay. All right. A good vibe here. So feel free to just keep dropping in. If you are using something or you're using a tool or you have suggestions, like this is a learning environment. So it's not just me talking at you, which I apologize if it does sound like that at any point. I have new headphones and can't hear my own voice sometimes. So just share. Always feel free to, just drop anything in that chat. So to get going. Oops. Right. Let's see, we went backwards. All right. Hello. So my name is Lisa Mo. I'm also known on social media as Miss Mo Teaches. I am a sixth grade teacher at Rondo School of Discovery in Corona Norco Unified in Southern California. I'm also our gifted and talented student coordinator. So I work with all GATE students from second grade through sixth grade. I have my bachelor's in cultural anthropology from UCLA, which at the time everyone was like, why? Why would you do that? But you know what? It plays a role in my life every single day. I got my first master's degree in teaching credential from UC Irvine and my second master's degree in educational technology from Cal State Fullerton. I'm the 2020 recipient of the Edwin Carr Fellowship through education technology through Cal State Fullerton. The 2021 IAQ Blended and Online Educator of the Year. I currently serve on the IAQ board as a board member. And you could just see all my beautiful things. But my most exciting thing that I've been doing for the last several months is I am a Computer Science Teacher Association, CSCA Equity Fellow for 2023-2024. We are all about disrupting the inequities that are existing within computer science and within our education system. So come along with me. And like I said, I'm a firm believer that we need to share ideas with each other, that we learn from each other and we listen with each other to be the best that we can be. So thank you. Thank you so much, George. Thank you. And this little clip you see here is I was featured as a top woman in STEM for CBS Mission Unstoppable. So I don't know, when in my life am I going to get a cool little screen like that they filmed for me? So I'm just going to, overuse that baby as much as I can. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'm so excited that you're all here with me. So today, some of our learning objectives are definitely discussing what is AI. And I know you're all here at this conference, so, you have a good idea there, but so I'm going to explain to you the way that I explain it to my students. We're going to be able to describe how AI can be integrated in an elementary education classroom. I'm going to be able to demonstrate some hands-on activities which you are also going to be able to participate in. And I encourage you to, because who wants to just sit and listen? We got to play. We got to get some hands-on things. So, and we're also going to just discuss the ethical considerations and creativity that goes within using AI at any level. You see, sorry, that's Rocky Balboa. If you see those hands behind me, I don't have horns. I'm sorry, it keeps showing, but there you go. So what is AI? I'm going to ask you in the chat, or again, share with your beautiful voices. Would you describe AI to someone that doesn't know what it is, like your K through 6th grade student in your classrooms? How would you describe it? Feel free to in that chat or share with me. Okay. Get some game show music going. Let's make it fun. Let's see. Bot partner, yes. You know what, George? You just taught me something. I didn't even know that you could do that in our Zoom chats now. Look at that. I'm learning something. You could now put pictures. What? So cool. Thought partner, definitely. Absolutely. So I'm going to keep, feel free, keep adding that chat. I'm going to keep going forward. Honor your time. It is Friday, people. It is Friday. I know. So the best way that I love to explain to my students at all different ages is that it's like a computer or a robot's brain that helps to learn and make decisions just like we would as humans. And I'll add in things like it could solve puzzles, answer questions, and even play games with you. I love to say that we are helping AI. So we are building it. We are the ones teaching AI what it needs to know and how it needs to know it. So although it is a useful tool, like that it is, something that sometimes feels like has all the answers that we need to feed it those answers. We need to feed it the right answers and that information. So we are helping in this development. So as scary as AI can be, sometimes the sound of it, that it's going to come in and take all our jobs and all the things that we are fearful of. No, we are part of the journey with it as long as we can really learn to work with it and feed it the proper nutrients of learning. I also love to explain to my students that Netflix or Hulu or any of those services that are coming up with ideas of what your suggestions that shows that you want to, may enjoy that's all AI. It's using all those things that you have watched to create your playlist, your suggested playlist, which I also love doing that on Spotify. I find out a lot of really good music based off of my musical interests because AI tells me you might like this, and they're right. Sometimes, again, we're feeding it the information. Oh, go. So we're gonna play. Here. I'm gonna get you this link, this quick draw. How many of you have used quick draw in your classroom? And if you haven't, let's enjoy this ride here. So let me add some friends in here. So quick draw is definitely, it's a little doodling game here. Super fun to engage your students with. But again, you are feeding it the information. You are teaching this machine what things look like, how they, how we could tell right away what they're going to look like, and who doesn't love to draw. So we're going to click on the link. I'm going to share my screen here. It says, let's draw. Hopefully you could see that. And I'm going to drop the link here for you as well so you could play. You don't need to log in, which is awesome. So you want your students just for a quick 2-minute fun time. We're going to use this right now as our little icebreaker. Go ahead and click on it. When you get to it, you can click got it. And I'll showcase this to you. So it says draw a sheep. I'm going to do my best to all of you, but please, you play around too. That's the fun. Play. I'm going to do a really bad. Ooh, okay. It says It says a cloud. This is terrible. This is terrible. It got it. All right. So you are literally teaching it and growing its brain of what it is. And the kids love doing this at all ages. As I said, I work with GATE students. However, today we are really diving into it's not always the access to our gifted students. We want all students, all those labels to go away for all students to have access to these tools and to be part of the growth of AI and computer science. So I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes. 2 minutes to play. And while you're playing, or if you played for a moment, or you just liked what you saw with me, go ahead and write in the chat, how would you use this in your classroom? So go ahead and add that into the chat for me. Again, don't be afraid to talk with me. I like talking to you guys, so please use your voices if you feel so comfortable. I'm gonna go here. So play, how would you use this in your classroom? I'll get that music on again. A minute or so. Hopefully you're playing and having some fun. All right, to get students to focus on the main aspects that define that object, not for the artistry. George, virtual candy for you. Go, George. And in my class, we'd say Scala, and then the kids would say holla. So Scala holla for you, George. Awesome job. As a brain break, absolutely. Get that creativity going in your students. But again, we're encouraging them. You are helping this machine learn. We are teaching the machine. The machine is not teaching us. So absolutely. Hello, Christy. Hello. Gorgeous on you. All right. We got about 10 more seconds. Anybody else? How else would you use this? We are all different grade levels. I'm going to ask you guys in the chat. You could do it without a timer. Right now, my screen is double screening for me, but yes. So, I mean, try not panic the students as well. You could also play this as just a simple little brain break where maybe you set the timer. We're going to do this for, 5 minutes or however you want to make use of this. But it is a game, which the kids do enjoy. Turn down my music there for a second. All right. So these are definitely engaging tools, and it is something that you can use at all ages. I also use this as I coach teachers as well, similar to what we're doing now. This is a really good way to just get creativity going. These are not the types of things that we think of when we think of AI. So often when I tell people that we are, I'm working with AI in my classroom or, in the world of education, we tend to lean on this idea of like the Terminator just coming in and taking over, right? This is how we've been raised to think. But really, we are dealing with AI every single day. And if we start to really unveil that to our students, that this is something they're part of, they are part of that growing, we are going to really have that buy-in and that confidence within them, which is really what we are working towards. So I'm going to stop sharing this. I'm going to go back to my presentation. Get to my presentation. Let's see. Okay, there you go. Can you all see my presentation again? Okay. Okay, awesome. Thank you. So again, it said you are teaching a machine. The machine is not teaching you. So I will also use this for those moments that we are about to do a writing assignment in my class. So sometimes my students, which I think we could all agree with, they'll say, I don't know what to write about. I don't know what to think about. So this is a really good way to kind of get those creative juices going, where all of a sudden I will say, okay, you're going to pick 5 of the pictures that you drew today, and you're going to write a story about it. Now they're all getting different types of pictures. They're all getting different types of images. So these stories are getting creative. And I'll even say to them, it doesn't have to be like, for instance, that was a sheep. You don't have to go with just a sheep. It could also be a metaphor. It could be a simile. So however you're viewing that picture, that's how you're going to write that story. It's your story to tell. So now they're getting their brains really activated and they love it because you never know what it's going to ask you. And sometimes it's really out of order. It could be a very off the wall story. So now we have a sheep and maybe there was a rocket and maybe, I don't know, there was a mouse. And now they're really having to think, but they're doing the thinking. So as much as those pictures are there and it's telling them, it's not replacing the skills that we need from them, which is to pull out their creativity and create that narrative. So that's one idea. Where do we begin? We're working within an elementary setting here. Again, when we're talking about computer science, when we're talking about educational technology, when we're talking about STEAM and STEM, typically these are more seen in those middle school and high school aged groups. By that point, we should have been teaching them long ago. So we need to beginning with them early. I'm talking TK. It can be done. We have to get these tools into their hands where they are being the creators and they are being the storytellers of their generation. So as early as kindergarten TK, we need to start introducing this for those foundational knowledge because we're fostering their interests, we're gaining their confidence and their proficiency of their subjects, and we're progressing them through their schooling. They shouldn't be learning coding when they hit freshman year as an elective. They should have these skills that they're building all along. Again, this is going to help them with sequencing, whether it's in math or it's in writing or it's in social studies or it's in science. We all need to know first, next, then those sequencing steps. Well, that is your unplugged computer science learning. All those little inputs, all those outputs that we are doing to understand our next steps in our learning, that's computer science. So the more that we feed that to our students, the better grasp that they're going to have on their future. So it could also enhance their problem-solving skills, logical thinking, and analytical reasoning. I was working with our kindergarten students this week, and I love to see that at this age, they are tiny. Sometimes their Chromebooks are bigger than they are. However, as we're introducing these topics to them, you should see them overcome these challenges. We teach them or we use in our own homes iPad games and video games. Why aren't we incorporating that same type of engagement that they know how to overcome these obstacles and how to maybe get frustrated through the process sometimes. But again, that's helping them build those skills as leaders, which is what we need from them. So again, if we're introducing concepts like algorithms, so when we're doing storytelling and analogies, and we're comparing them to recipes or sets of instructions and stories, you could break down stories into parts and teach your preschool and early elementary students about structure and logical reasoning and sequencing. You do not have to have like a microbit or an Ozobot or these robotics to start with computer science in your classroom. And it doesn't even have to be done on a computer. Just cutting out pieces of paper and having them put them in order is all getting their brain to start thinking logically and within an algorithm. So we have to start early. I cannot stress that enough because we want our students at any age, of any background, of any label that they have been given in education to feel that they have access and the right to their education. So AI, how does AI play into that computer science? How are we understanding it? Well, again, they are teaching the machine. So things like Scratch Junior and Codable, Code.org and Blockly, these are just some of the things that you could introduce computer science, which is in the form of using AI within your classroom. those block understanding, block coding. The child, your students are teaching and telling it what they want it to do. And it's not going to do what they want it to do if they don't understand the sequencing of it and the algorithm of it. So again, if you're using any of these, has anyone used any of these tools in their classroom? And maybe you didn't feel like, yay. Maybe you haven't felt like you're using AI in your classroom, but you are, and your students are understanding again that they are the teachers of this machine. So continue introducing these into your classroom. And if you haven't, yay, George, yes, Scratch, code.org. All those are not isolated. So it's not computer science and AI and it's all under one bridge. It all goes together, and it all goes together with your curriculum as well. Again, it goes across it. It's not something isolated. This goes even as we talked earlier about, writing stories with the pictures. It's not an isolated thing when we're teaching grammar. It shouldn't be. We're teaching nouns and verbs and this here, and then we're writing. We're putting these things together. Well, this is that same type of idea. All of this, AI, computer science, really breaking down those barriers that may be existing. I understand that we are from all different parts of the world. I understand that my school is called the School of Discovery. So maybe I have a little more access to computer science tools, but that's not always the case for each and every one of us. Not every school is one-to-one. So how are we going to overcome that so that every child is getting that access? So really, again, you don't need these things to introduce it to your students. All you have to do is start with some unplugged things. And if you ever need ideas, please reach out to me. I love to support and help any age, any grade, any human, and I guess any AI too. So AI's role in today's classroom, we're going to talk about those personalized learning paths and enhancing engagement through interactive learning and automating administrative tasks to save time, because we are educators. We need time. We need more time. As I told some of you earlier, I am on a year-round schedule, and part of that year-round can be lovely. For example, as of today, I am now off for the month of March, which is beautiful. But it's not beautiful when you have to move out of your classroom and set it up every single time. So I've been moving out of my classroom all week while prepping for today's presentation with you. There's only so many hours in a day, but with things like AI, it has helped me save so much time, which this presentation, this beautiful design, my own words, but these gorgeous designs came from Canva AI. So yay, time saver. So as we're talking about those personalized learning, needs of our students, I will share a personal story with you. This year in my classroom, I have a student that has a rare bone cancer, and they are learning from home. I am teaching them at the exact same time as the rest of my students through Zoom. So I have 33 students, 33 sixth graders in front of me, one at home, for a grand total of 34 students. I have to make sure that this student is having access, is getting that same experience of their learning, and that they're not feeling excluded due to their circumstances, that they are more than the circumstances that they are facing right now. With certain programs, I've been able to provide visualize lesson plans that not only resonate with the student where they can feel part of their learning, but it's also not so different from the rest of their classmates that they could join in the conversations and converse with their classmates through Zoom and collaborate on projects. I'm able to support this student when maybe they can't respond to me right away. They may be in the hospital, they may be, whatever the case is, I'm able to adjust and utilize these tools to support their learning needs. I get very emotional on this just because it's a very emotional case. So thank you for allowing me to open up on that. So AI in education can be like having a personal tutor for each student, and it's always ready to help with exactly what you need to learn next. And I say that as a fun fact because truly we know that not one student is the same in our classroom. One student is going to learn the same. And so as long as we are engaging and we are adapting to their learning needs, we aren't expecting them to meet us where we want them. We're meeting them where they're at, and together we're coming together. We're going to continue to see confidence and, again, those educational labels, those damaging labels, be removed from them. So interactive AI tools are some new concepts that we're kind of getting into. Augmented reality things can be pricey, but there are apps. So if you have an access to even an iPhone or anything that has apps available, I tend to use an iPad in my classroom. It is so fun to bring their learning to life and to visually see things. In 6th grade, we do different types of science, one of them being dissecting certain animals. And I am not that person. I just can't do it. And so what I was very, very excited about is that there are certain AR apps that allow my students that are more squeamish like myself to learn how to dissect a frog from our iPad. And they could really zoom in and dissect and learn these different labels of names of the parts, and they're taking it out without the squeamishness that may exist. Again, for my student learning from home, they can also participate in this without me bringing a dead frog to their house and saying, here you go, dissect this. They can now participate using these certain apps and feel part of this, feel part of that learning. So there are so many fun things out there. We have done different field trips that maybe we don't have the funding for, that we're not going to be able to go see, to certain museums that offer this augmented reality aspect where they could point their iPad at my classroom wall and suddenly the Mona Lisa is in front of them. So it's really breaking down the walls of your classroom. There are so many amazing tools out there and resources, and I'm definitely not here to overwhelm you with every single idea, but I do want to just share with you what there is out there. Think of it as one giant buffet that you get to choose what you want to use and how you want to use it and when you want to use it. And if you don't want to use it, skip it. It's not for you. You don't have to have that. That's okay. So it's not just about learning, it's about bringing that excitement and curiosity back into your classroom. So with that being said, Codebreaker EDU is a great resource if you are familiar with something like ChatGPT, which again, we're fearful of our students using it, and did they really write this, and how are they writing this? But what if we were using this for our students to be able to ask questions, to find research in a more safer environment? So in this case, they do not need logins, which is awesome. So no personal information is being shared for your students. I've used this with 3rd graders, with 2nd graders, as we are diving into passion projects, or for instance, 6th grade, we're talking about ancient Greece right now. There's a lot of mature content that goes with ancient Greece, and it can be scary when I send my students out to research what they may see and what they may read. But with something like Codebreaker EDU, they're feeding the information to help us understand, and they're part of the unit planning with me. So we started from the top, and this is one of my students' searches, or what are some vocabulary words in ancient Greece? Starting from the top, it's not me just feeding them. They could go and they're typing it in and they're getting some answers, and now we're going to take that and go use that in our research. We're going to get some safer searching happening. Again, for my 2nd graders, I know I had a 2nd grade teacher in here today. I've had my 2nd graders use this as well. As I said, we were working on different animal adaptations, so they were able to safely ask, what are some animal adaptations, or what is an adaptation for we'll use a frog again, a frog. And now they're able to see this research and see a safer side of it where it's not just using, let me look that up for you, or how. Now we're teaching them how to properly feed the machine to get the answers that they want in a safer manner. So again, I cannot emphasize enough though, always make sure that your students are not giving any personal information into AI or anywhere online, but that's our digital citizenship lesson for today. Going. So again, we're talking about those tailored lessons. We're talking about those interactive tools and games, which I'm going to show you my next favorite one right now. And again, our quick fact is that AI can analyze thousands of data points about a student's learning habits to recommend the most effective exercises and resources. So when I use certain tools, like my student that is learning from home, I could say, how can I adjust this lesson to fit a student that is learning from home using a Chromebook? I could give specifics without giving too much detail about the student and see how those adjustments can be made in my lesson plans. So it really is a nice little assistant that isn't going to take too much of your brain smarts away from you, as we are afraid of. It's only going to advance you as well, because you're like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. So quizzes. I love quizzes. I love it, love it, love it. If anyone is going to Q in Palm Springs, or you're going to ISTE this year, one of my sessions is just on quizzes because I love it so much. I am not a salesperson, so this is just an infatuation. So I do want to share with you that quizzes is now in this beta version of AI. I love this because I can feed it a PDF of something that we are reading, or a video that I want my students to watch, or a novel that we are reading. And the AI on it could go through within seconds and create questions to go with whatever I need it to. Yes, Marshall, yes, they are amazing. And I get so excited about it if you couldn't tell. So yeah, this is seriously one of my favorite tools out there, because sometimes there's already pre-made quizzes, as we know, on quizzes, and there's a little pretty button that will say like use AI, and it will like make these questions more personalized to your students, where you could get more real world examples out of the questions that you want your students thinking of. So again, if you're going to start somewhere and you're not sure where to start, I definitely recommend Quizzes AI. It is in that beta version. So again, you could be part of history by teaching it, learning with it, growing with it. And you'll look back on your life and say, I helped with that. So definitely, if you're not using it, get onto Quizzes AI. And I could just show you some of this. So I like this. It will say like, how would you like to create? And you could create from scratch. You can generate from a text. You could upload a document, or you can convert a URL to a quiz. And they'll say YouTube videos, Wikipedia pages, which shame, we don't use Wikipedia. But yes, so any type of things that you want your students to read or learn, or maybe you're not working with classroom students, maybe you're working with other teachers and adults, and you want them to take something away from their learning and really assess the main points of something. Feed it to Quizzes AI, watch it develop something beautiful. But like anything with AI, we still need to make sure that, you know, the questions are correct and the answers are correct. So always go back and edit and check, which again is a great skill for your students. So those are just some of my beauty. Again, if we were in person, this would be my little pause moment for a second to say, Candy, for all of you, you're here on a Friday night. You're here talking with me. What beautiful people you are. Here's Candy, Candy, Candy. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. So how are we going to continue to enhance engagement through interactive learning? Well, as you can see, I can get very excited. I am someone that shows a lot of enthusiasm, but I am not asking anyone to be like me. I want you to be the best version of you. So with that being said, as you're thinking about using all of these things and how you're going to engage your students, no one knows your students better than you do. So you will pick the ones that you know will work and how you present it to your students. So some of these things are those creative problem solving and collaborative projects, which I will get more into. Efficient grading systems. So I know we talked a little bit earlier about some of us that love Magic School AI. There's different ways that it can help you grade or at least provide the feedback that you're looking for, especially when we're grading over 30 something essays. You could create a rubric within seconds based off of your content standards and the essential question that you're looking for, and really allow it to automate that for you. If you're looking to send out a parent newsletter, I know for me, I send out a daily message to my students' families. And what used to take me quite some time each day to really write out what we did that day, now I kind of have this template going where I could put in my thoughts for the day into a AI tool, and it will, like Magic School, and it will create a beautiful newsletter for me for that day within seconds. So it's a time saver. It's your friend, it's your assistant. But also, again, always go back and check. Always go back and check that it's going to be appropriate and correct and it doesn't sound like AI, because it's really funny now to tell when someone has been using AI. You could always kind of get a feel now. But AI can quickly grab those multiple choice and fill in the blank tests, which we don't say tests in my class, we say smarty party. So yes, those fill in the blank smarty parties, and provide that instant feedback to students, which is giving you more time, the gift we all need. So I did make this little template here of getting started with Magic School. So if you're not on it, that's okay. You will be getting these resources. So if you're like trying to keep up with me, don't worry. This will be recorded and you will also have access to my entire presentation. But you could open Magic School AI. You're signing in with Google. And then there's so many different tools like Raina, which is kind of like your own personal coach that's kind of supporting you through your output history, those magic tools. You could favorite items, and this will all make sense in a moment. So there's like 60 plus different ways that Magic School AI can be used. You could get that feedback. For those of us that are right now doing report cards, you could have report card comments made for you. Again, emailing families, creating the assessments. So not only can it grade your multiple choice assessments, but it could also create the assessments, which is beautiful. You could create those rubrics, as I discussed. There's an IEP generator. Again, you're not feeding personal information ever. I'll continue saying that ethically. However, it could still help you get those goals written down, those ideas that you need. Maybe your brain isn't braining in that moment. This can help you. A text rewriter. Sometimes we want to take information that maybe we've given directions that the students just aren't really catching it, or you want to reword it for a new group of students. This will rewrite however that your statement is. There are so many fun tools. Raina is, like I said, kind of like it's a chat bot. It's kind of like your coach, similar to how I showed earlier, Codebreaker EDU, kind of will guide you and help you and answer those questions that you may have throughout your creating process, give you suggestions. There are so many fun tools. As teachers, Magic School is so fun. It's so fun. It's like, where have you been all my life? Fun. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Here's another really fun task card creator. I am in a school where we are really zoning in on small groups, and for both reading and in math. And using Magic School, I can feed it with, so right now we're doing reading small groups. I need some task cards and I want them to be able to practice sentence starters. Some students are going to need supports in their reading. Not all students are going to be on grade level. So how can you take this article and meet their Lexile level where they're still reading the same story, but maybe at a level that's going to help grow them to be on grade level. It will also have like those text dependent questions based off of we're reading Percy Jackson right now. So it was able to create some based off of what I fed it. So again, within seconds, I'm not sitting there trying to plan out every single student need. Every student is going to receive what they need and you're going to get time back. So this is a really fun way of doing that. Again, that rubric developer, which my picture is not showing up, so that's okay. So rubric developer is really fun. I'm going to go back on it. You'll just use your imagination because I don't know why my picture is not there, but you could feed it your standard, your essential question, and the grading, how many points that you're grading this. And this one may take a little bit more thinking time. That's okay. You're smart. You're educated professionals. We could think. We're beautiful. This one, you want to really make sure that it is meeting what you want that end goal to be, but it's so great. Right now, I have a student teacher. He's with me all school year. And one of his requirements is to learn how to create a rubric. And as he was struggling, I was able to support him by introducing him to Magic School Eye, where he is now being able to grow and learn how to create a rubric because now he knows what's the most important part of that rubric. It's not just what it looks like, it's also the information you're trying to get out of it. So as we're doing informational writing or expository writing, he's now understanding how to apply the standards and is it going to be fair for our students that may struggle with reading or the students that struggle with writing. So if anything, it's not a way to not teach him how to create a rubric. He's now getting the main idea of why we have rubrics and what he needs on his rubrics to support the students' learning goals. So again, it's used at any level. Doesn't always have to be your K-5 kids. You could have a 23-year-old student teacher as well. So again, there's other awesome ways where you could have homework and assignment tracking. You could use this to suggest like those different learning activities. Again, in small groups, maybe I want some students working on sentence starters. I want other students working on reading comprehension. So really, it's just optimizing your educational outcomes for your students. And if you guys haven't noticed, some of the pictures on here, I used AI because it's fun to create some of these images. So thank you, AI, for making pretty pictures. Now I'm probably mispronouncing this, but I just like saying, I just say diff it, but then I always hear people say different things different ways. So I'm going to go with it. Their whole little tagline is to get just right instructional materials, which is going to save you tons of time. So if you could see on here, what I loved about Diffit is you could search for a topic. So again, I'm teaching ancient Greece in my classroom. So I could say ancient Greece, and I'm going to pick about the reading level and the language that's spoken. I'm also Mandarin immersion school as well, which they have these options, right, for our English learners. And it will generate resources within seconds. It will give you the vocabulary that is going to be needed. It's going to give you articles at different reading levels. It's going to give you some lesson plan ideas. This is, like it says, the just right resources, not the fluff pieces, but the just right instructional materials that are not only going to engage your students and get them learning, but also it's not when we're always like, oh, I don't need all this. I don't need all this part. It's going to get you just, those right materials. The best way that I could explain this is when you go looking for a recipe online and you think you found a good one, but then the first like 5 minutes of reading, you're just hearing about the like person that wrote the recipes, like personal life, and you're just like, I just want to know how much jelly to add. That's all. I didn't need to hear it. So it kind of takes all that other stuff away from us where we're like, but okay, but what's the end goal? What's that outcome? So this one is fun. You do need to log into this one. This one you will need to create like, and you could use Google as well to log in with this one. So you will need to set up an account, but you could also play around without signing up. So definitely encourage you to play around. See if you enjoy it. And so here's kind of what it looks like where I said ancient Greece, and it gave me a summary, those key vocabulary words that I'm looking for. And see, it says up here, adapted reading passages. So it took the different readings and adapted it to all of the different lexiles that exist in my classroom. So it's beautiful. So yeah. See, keeps wanting to go backwards on me. So best way that I could say is embrace AI, and you need to give yourself the gift of time. So give yourself the grace of creativity, engagement, and leaving that impact in your classroom. Again, there are so many fun ways of doing this. There's so many tools out there that do not need to overwhelm us, but we are redefining what ed tech and computer science and AI looks like in an elementary setting, and it can be done, and it's only going to boost your students' confidence, whether you have a student learning from a hospital bed, or you have a student who struggles with reading, or you have an English learning student, or whatever it is that they feel is hindering their learning. The more we incorporate this, the more we give them access and we put these tools into their hands, the more they're going to embrace it, and they're going to see that their learning belongs to them. And that's truly what we want from our students. So, like I said, these are all just different ideas. I talked about these, our educational games, our virtual field trips, smart content creation tools for teachers. This is just kind of a wrap up for you of some of those awesome things we've talked about today. So all this being said, what is in your teacher toolbox, or what are you thinking of using first in your classroom? So come Monday, what's the one thing that you want to take in today? So you could share out loud, or you could put it in the comments. Or if you're using something else, share it too. This is a learning zone with all of us. All right. Yes, George, Magic School. There's, like I said, there's reason there's magic in it. It's so much fun. They have upped a little bit with like they're used to just like you'd have more access on things, and now like they're kind of putting these tiers because it's becoming more popular. But even if you don't want to pay the free version, you could still get so much out of the free version. So just have fun with it, and just think of what you're going to bring in for your students. I just want to share. It's Friday. You'll get a virtual candy. So, all right. Yes, I love that. I love that. Yes, introducing it to new teachers. Definitely. Like I said, I have a student teacher, and all these tools are like going to be so much fun for them to take in as they enter the world of education. Yes, Adobe Firefly. I've been playing around with that, Christy. I could pick your brain some more because I've been having so much fun playing with it. So thank you for adding that to my toolbox too. So illustrate the writing. Yes, love it. See, we're all learning. Feel free to keep adding in. I want to respect your time. I know we still have several minutes here, but it's also Friday and you're tired and you've been given your all. And I talked a lot at you, but please know that you can always contact me. I am on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. I am on Instagram, and you can find me on LinkedIn as well. My name is Lisa Mo. You can email me anytime at missmoteaches@gmail.com. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them now or write me. If you have more ideas that you want to contribute, and I'd be happy to add it to my presentation. Really, this was just about breaking down those walls of learning, and we are coding without borders. That is what we are doing. We are learning how to not limit our students and ourselves from being our personal best. So, Christy, yes. Oh, I can't wait for that. Like I said, I'm in a Mandarin immersion school, so I know that this is going to be so supportive for students and teachers across campus. Thank you, Christy. Virtual candy for you. Hey. So each of you, thank you all for joining me today. Thank you so much. I hope you learned some things. I hope you had fun. I hope we just continue to connect with each other. Thank you, George. Rock star there, all of you. What a great day. So I am going to leave this. Yes, Christy, please do. I am presenting like 5 different times, 5 different things. So come see me. Yes. One of my big ones I am doing, it's game show style. So you'll find me. I'll be the one in sparkles. That's what I do. So with actual candy for you. So please come by. So please, yes, Chrissy, that is my kind of my thing. It's always a little too much. Thank you so much. So please give feedback. Thank you so much. I will leave some music on. Have an amazing weekend, everyone. And thank you all for joining us at our Evergreen Sequoia AI education event. This has been so much fun to be a part of.